Training regarding red team or blue team? Both.
It's it's both. See, if you see ethical hacking has nothing to do with blue team, right? It's a red teaming part. So if you see blue teaming, so checkpoint firewall, it's a blue team tool, correct? Splunk, it's a blue team tool. AlienVault OSSIM, it's a
Yes.
blue team tool. It's both. Okay. So the purpose of this meeting, it's a brief meeting just to give you a clarity about how we are going to proceed once you subscribe for the, uh, I wouldn't say program, subscribe for the labs, or you understood, right? Mr. Sanjeev has conveyed so many details. So he must have conveyed you that, we'll be giving some course free of cost. If you have laptop or desktop with, with recommended amount of configuration, then you can do everything on free of cost. If somebody doesn't have that recommended configuration of laptop or desktop, they can subscribe. We can help you to arrange that, right, in a very cost effective manner, where you'll have to subscribe for the lab. I hope you are aware of that, right? Fundamentally, before we begin. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So
Yeah, just
so
wanted to
maybe
be.
Vishal, thanks Vishal to get it started. Maybe I can just up the call agenda, and then after that you can take it over. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So thanks everyone whoever has joined this call. The main intent and the agenda of today's discussion is primarily 3 points, which we have been discussing from last maybe 3 weeks or so. You people have been initially joined into some VAPT or SOC specific groups. Thought is based on, and there are close to 500 people, by the way, who have been divided into 2 separate groups. Now, while going through the discussion, okay, with the candidates who claim to have maybe different expertise either on VAPT or SOC, some specific tools, we saw a lot of discrepancy. Okay. The discrepancy was even to the experience level of people who are of 3 to 4 years also. Okay. They have mentioned so many things on resume, but they don't know the things. They are claiming an experience of 3 years, 2 years, but they don't have the experience certificate. So a lot of things which have gone into, and I kept on filtering the right resources for the industry. But after discussing with the candidates individually, one-to-one, I faced this as a challenge. Now, I could have easily dropped all of you. There are some freshers also, or maybe I think 50, 60 freshers also who had joined in separate groups. So now there was a challenge for freshers who are looking for a job. They are very talented people, but not getting it. Okay. There is second category of people who are claiming to have an experience of 2 to 3 years, but they don't have the proper experience certificate, or maybe they don't have the proper knowledge, but they are trying to get into the industry. Third is there are some category of people who are struggling to do or deliver on some other things also, and they are failing back onto the interviews which we provided. So maybe you all are not aware that okay, we have given interview opportunities to many candidates. So these candidates either they failed very badly, or some of them got selected as well, but then they revoked their decision and they drop the opportunity then and there. So we do not want to deal with those category of people. Now, how we can help all these 3 category of people whom we are trying to address from last 3 weeks, 4 weeks? I thought let's extend our hands, though it is not our responsibility to maybe do it for the sake of nothing, right? I mean, we are not going to get anything out of it, correct? But still we wanted to support you people. Okay. Now, in order to support freshers, what I think is probably we can go ahead and give you some experience related to some research related activities, or some activities or assignments which we can give it to you on cybersecurity specific domain, where you can contribute, you can learn, and while learning, maybe like you can contribute towards some portion of it, where maybe like we might need your help. Okay, but again, because it is not something which we are doing for any project or any customer, uh, and there is no earning to us, correct? Ultimately, we are just trying to help you, right? So, and there's no earning to us, so we cannot pay you, right? That is why I said, okay, for internships, but still I can support you by giving an internship letter, which you can share in industry as an experience certificate also. And the gap which is getting created in your career as of now, you can fill that gap. Okay, so this is going to be beneficial for you also, and ultimately maybe indirectly to us as well. Okay, on some research related activities you are going to learn, and you are earning certificate. See, the condition is simple. I don't mind maybe giving internship letter to 20 people, 30 people, 40 people. Ultimate objective is whoever is serious enough, someone who can contribute to all the research related activities which we are going to assign them, because ultimately it is all about their learning. I want that to let get that done first. Otherwise, there is no meaning to it. Someone who is coming to here and talking to me, sir, give me an internship certificate, but I'm not free. It cannot be done. Okay, so I want every candidate to learn while we are giving some assignments or activities, because it is for their betterment, not ours. So I'm just trying to support the right talented people by giving them internship letters, so that they can fill this gap till the time they don't get job. But if they get a job, they can go ahead and join any company in between. But minimum, what I'm expecting is, let's evaluate these people on a 3 months of duration, so that we can see who is good, who is bad, or maybe who can be dropped or who can be continued. That call we'll take it later. But if you are even an average candidate, or you are a topper or a gold medalist, I don't care. I'm here to support you, and you have to do your part very genuinely. This is for the internship certificate or the freshers who are going to be associated with us. If you want, you can continue. If you want, if maybe if you are not okay with this approach or my idea, you can drop from the group. That is absolutely fine. Okay, so this is something I want to address for the freshers category. Now, the other people who are experienced in security, but they don't have any proper skill set, probably maybe some specific skill set, I would say. Some people are claiming that they have the SOC experience, but they have only worked on monitoring part. They do not have any maybe expertise related to, say, suppose firewall. Okay, and if some company is asking for maybe checkpoint firewall expertise, so maybe those specific skill sets also we are going to give it free of cost. We will be giving you some recorded content. You have to go through it. You have to do all the labs and assignments which are mentioned to that course, or maybe my team would be guiding you. They will be giving some additional assignments. You have to work on it, so that you get proper knowledge on that skill set. And if any relevant opportunity comes to me, that okay, some company is looking for maybe checkpoint expert, okay, or maybe some company is looking for maybe QRadar expert. If you are ready that time, I will process your resume with them, and if you get placed, nothing like it, to go ahead with it. Okay, so this is the second category of people where I wanted to give my efforts, my team's efforts, though we don't have anything to do with you. Okay, just to support you. Now, the biggest challenge over here is, if there are some labs when you will be learning. Okay, when you will be learning, then there are two level of challenges. One is your own engagement in understanding the topic, wherein we will be providing some guidance. My team would be guiding you. Vishal is the delivery head for this overall engagement. He's managing the overall stuff. Under him, there are other team members also who would be contributing towards your success. So one is you understand and grasp the concept fully. Second thing is then how you do it, right? I mean, it's not about theory. Theory is available free of cost on YouTube, maybe on Google also. You might be getting and coming across so many content free of cost, but you are not getting the right direction. So here our content will give you a proper direction. Second thing is how to do the labs and hands-on practice. For that you need a proper lab. Now there are some content or some topics wherein you might need maybe heavy end machine, But the biggest problem is the labs or the skills which we are going to tell you. It will be requiring maybe 16 GB RAM machine as a bare minimum requirement, because suppose if you are learning maybe checkpoint firewall, you need to know a site-to-site VPN concept, or maybe some other related concept. You need to create two sites. You have to create two machines, at least 4 to 5 machines on the same laptop of 16 GB, or virtual machine of same capacity. You have to create that kind of environment. Now, in order to create that environment, you need to have a proper infrastructure. If you have it, nothing like it, you go ahead, I don't mind. Okay. You take help of your friends, you rent it out on your own, or you have 16 GB of machines, we don't have any problem. You go ahead and use it. But ultimate objective is, don't bluff, okay? Because otherwise you are not going to learn anything. Second thing is, if you're not doing the proper labs, even our engagement, our resources who are going to be working with you, their time is getting wasted, and we don't want to do that. Correct? So if suppose so in that case, you can do two ways. Okay, one is, if you have a basic laptop of maybe 4 GB RAM, it is not capable enough of doing any proper lab exercises. Then in that case, you can utilize it as a basic laptop. You can rent out some virtual machine in our lab infrastructure at monthly rental cost of, I think, somewhere 2,500 plus GST, which I have already negotiated with the team members. I mean our partner. Otherwise, if you have your own laptop, I mean, there's no challenge at all. I mean, go ahead. We don't have any questions. But all the labs, all the assignments, whatever are given to you, you have to submit on time. And if you're not able to do so, we will be able to help you out in that situation, how to go about it. Correct? With this way, you will be learning on that technical skill set. The costing is going to be controlled, because it is a monthly rental engagement. So suppose if you even rent it out on either on your own or maybe through us, if you need it for 1 month or 2 months notice, in just 5,000, 8,000 rupees, or maybe even if you are renting it out for 3 months, it is hardly 7,000-8,000 rupees, which is not even the cost of a single course which would be outside. So if you use a parallel course, you have to invest 20 to 25,000 rupees. So here you are given free content. Lab is anyway at a subsidized rate, so everything you are getting at 8,000-9,000 rupees. Correct? So this is how it will work. And even and if you have your own laptop, you are of the required infrastructure which we have set, then ultimately it is completely free for you. Okay. So this is the second level of engagement, and how it is going to help you out. If you are good at stock, or maybe if you are having VAPT experience, you are gaining some additional skills also, and ultimately you can apply both on VAPT side and as well as onto the blue team side, wherein some network security role or maybe firewall specific role, if it is coming up, you can apply for that. Okay, so this is the overall concept on which we thought to help you out. Choice is yours, whether whatever category you are, okay, whether you are experienced category or freshers category, you want to continue, you don't want to continue, it is your choice. It is absolutely okay with us. But even if there are 5-10 people, we are absolutely okay to help them out. Okay, so this is the overall intent of this program. But please note, there will not be any live classes for this. Okay, there won't be any live class. We will be only helping you out once in a week, or some guidance sessions would be provided, and no live classes. You have to do your own efforts. You have to do your own homework. We are providing the overall infrastructure and the overall help and guidance. Okay. So that's all. Now, if to this thought process or the objective which we are trying to achieve, please ask me now. Otherwise, I'm just going to hand it over to Vishal. He will take it over.
Hello.
I hope I was clear. Yeah.
Yeah, I have few questions. So let's say this internship continues for, let's say, 3 months, and then you have an opening for SOC, which might require relevant SOC experience of 1 year or 2 year, or any opening you might have for checkpoint firewall, for example, and that also requires experience in that particular product for a few years. But here we have done this internship for just few months, like for 3 months or 4 months. So how can we cover that thing there? How can we cover that relevant
something which you don't have experience, we cannot help it. Company is asking for 2 years of experience and you don't have, so how I can help you out? Nothing can be done on that part, right? See, something which you have gap and we cannot do much about it. Whatever this engagement is going to be, you will be given certificate only. We cannot do anything, or we cannot give any the document which can substantiate your gap overall, and you can prove it in any company. We are not into that game.
That so that cannot we cannot help with that. We just have to make everything clear that we have this much of experience and this and this.
That is it.
And,
Yes.
yep.
Yes.
And that's it. And just
Yes.
one more thing, sir. So let's say I my current package is 7.2, and if I add on my allowances which I get, so it becomes around 8.25. So how much hike can we expect? Like how much maximum should I
Okay, so
ask for?
there are different companies with different budgets. Okay, so if you'll ask, I mean, there are many people who are asking anything. Okay, people with they're asking 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 7 times also, if they have the specific certification or maybe knowledge. But it is all about you have to be realistic with the company in your approach. Maybe, but it's not a package game. Okay, because otherwise, maybe you are going at 14 lakhs and after 6 months you will be laid off. You have to look from a consistent career growth perspective, whatever it comes up, and you have to be practical in your approach. If you are maybe experience of 1 or 2 years, you are already getting 7-8 lakhs. That itself is a high for a person with 1 or 1.5 year of experience. But if you are maybe 3 or 4 years of experience, yes, there is a room of further increase in the salary, which people will accept and they will like, provided you have the right skill set. That time there is no proper formula you can define that, okay, how much I can expect. But usually if you work in any organization, you're maybe for a good performer or best performer in bigger organizations, it go around 10 to 11%. With the smaller organizations, it may vary around 15-20% also. If you are going outside, maybe you can 30-35%, 40% is considered to be a 30% probably or 35% you can consider is a decent hike. Okay, but if you are a very sharp person who have done maybe many certifications or something, you can ask for 50%, 55%. That is okay to ask. All right. So, but it's it's like lottery. I'll tell you based on my experience with the few group of people whom I am dealing with. It's kind of lottery. Okay, but if you play lottery, it will come only once. You don't have to get into that path. Maybe you can get 100% hike also, but what is the guarantee that the company is not going to get a resource into the same range or maybe below your range, whatever you're asking, and you would be always at risk of getting laid off. You don't even see. You have to be always consistent and proper growth is always always to be achieved over a longer period of time, rather than today you are getting maybe abrupt hike and after 3 years, 4 years, nobody's even asking you to go, asking you, and they are not even hiring also. You're not getting a job and you will be trapped in one particular organization. And once you will be laid off for that particular skill set, nobody will be hiring you. So that is also true. All right. Yeah. Any other questions? Before I hand it over to Vishal, I'll be there on call, but I'll be on mute. Maybe if you want, we can have another set of questions at the end of this call also. So that is absolutely fine. You can, and anyway, I'm there in the group. You can ping me personally. You can call me personally also. So that is absolutely okay with me. All right.
Hello, sir. Myself, Bhargav.
Yeah, Bhargav.
Sir, I am good at a SOC analyst L1. Did not have any experience. I knowledge on Sentinel and EDR, Microsoft Sentinel, this, sir. This is useful, or any different tools are using in this training?
See. Okay, so the training is going to be specific to the fundamentals, you would be given maybe recordings of networking plus maybe Windows security concepts, or maybe some SIM specific tool plus a firewall. I think checkpoint we would be going, correct. So all the tools or maybe the basics which are getting covered up, they are going to be the industry specific only, and all these tools whatever we are going to give you in form of recorded content, those are the prominent ones and the world leaders, and most of the companies, they are using those products. There are plenty of vendors for every product, right? So today Sentinel, maybe tomorrow for SIM itself there is QRadar, or maybe like ArcSight is there, or some any XYZ tool it is getting used. So I mean, you will take time basically to learn all those things. People do take 7-8 years, 10 years experience to go through all these tools, because today they are working in the organization where maybe ArcSight is installed. Next, after 2 years, if they change the company, their QRadar or maybe Sentinel is there. So your resume gets built over a period of time. A fresher cannot acquire everything and mention in their resume. It will be looking fake. Okay, for any experience, tool or maybe any skill set which you acquire, minimum it takes 9 months. 3 months you will be understanding the concepts. Next 3 months you will start absorbing the concept, and then after that 7th, 8th, and 9th month you will be starting to contribute on the things whatever you have learned. This is how it works. So this is a simple formula, and if you are mentioning 20 skills as a fresher, your resume itself is considered as fake. You will not get even a call also. So you have to build it over a period of time. But what exactly you are putting in your resume, you have to be best at it, and for that you have to work hard in two ways. Either first is theoretical concepts, second thing is on the practical concepts. Rest you don't worry whether I'll get a job or not. See if you're good on the conceptual part on one particular tool or the skill set, whatever you are claiming, you can work in any other way, and industry will give you a chance. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think I have set up the context. Go ahead. Okay. I think I have set up the ground for this call. You please go ahead. Okay. Rest of the people, if you have any specific questions, please get back to me one-to-one. And we'll have a call. I'll maybe give more clarity. I'll guide you more. And this is how we can do it. But whoever is interested, those only people be in the group, or maybe continue with us. That is what I will recommend. Okay, I do not want to waste your time or my time to get wasted because of your non-response or non-actions. Vishal.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, you please continue. You go ahead with it. Okay. To the group only. Final comment from my side is, if you have an idea, if you want to continue, please continue. Otherwise, I personally do not want to get your time wasted, or maybe the other way around as well, for your non-response. So that's what I would say. Okay, so whoever is interested in any of these categories, please be and stay in the group, but be responsive. If anything is asked, please respond immediately. Otherwise, if you feel no, this is not the thing which you are looking for, probably you can drop. That is absolutely fine. We'll only focus on some set of interested group of people, and we will give our best and we'll expect best from them. I'm going on mute.
Yeah, sure. So hi team members. Let me tell you one thing. Before I share you my screen, right? So I want to ask you before that, being expertise in tool is one thing. Right, one or the other way you'll be aware of one or the other tools. Some of you may be expert in Sentinel, some of you may be expert in some Palo Alto firewall, checkpoint firewall, any such tools, right? But irrespective of whichever the technology you use, do you agree that methodology remains almost the same? Approach, methodology, yes?
Yes, sir.
Correct. See, for example, it doesn't matter whether you're using iPhone or Android, the best example. So how do you call certain people via Android and via your iOS, or I would say iPhone? Just the UI is different. The purpose remains the same, right? Correct. So
Yes, sir.
likewise, we have catered some fundamental course, okay? So which is catered for the people who wants to jump into the cybersecurity, with some amount of knowledge, so that things will not start to be something new, or should not feel like you are alienated from something, right? So that is how we have designed the course, which I'll shortly share. So in fact, I'll share it now. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So when we say that you will be getting free access to the course, so this is what I'm talking about. You will have access to Splunk. You may not have ever done Splunk. Doesn't matter. So what we want you to do here is just understand the methodology, right? What, irrespective of, like I've said, whichever the firewall expertise you have, but what is that thing that you're achieving out of it ultimately by learning any firewall skills, right? You may be learning how to protect certain attack at the network level. The one who is using IBM QRadar, the one who is using Microsoft Sentinel, the UI and the way and the feature could be different, but the purpose remains the same. You have to monitor and you have to catch the threats and then respond to the threats, right? Based on some artifacts or evidence. There is a different UI, different way to view that and investigate that, depending on tool to tool. So here also, people who want to jump to security and want to understand some aspect of security. So there is a flow, I believe, rather than randomly picking courses, rather than randomly starting from, some online videos here and there. So here will guide you, if you're getting started with cybersecurity, and by the way, you already have some experience, right, with some cybersecurity tools, which is already an added advantage, right? Learning this will give you further more clarity, at least in terms of fundamentals. So you'll have around, if you see here, totally around 10 course, right? So out of which, I have interviewed so many people. Even I have been interviewed, during my career, right? In the initial phase of my career, of course. And I understood the market, with the vast experience that, I have gained, throughout my career. So people are able to explain technology. Technology meaning you may be good with Sentinel, you may be good with QRadar, you may be good with firewall, but there are people who is not able to explain the fundamentals of networks. Meaning you are going to protect the infrastructure, correct, of customer environment. That is a whole objective. If you don't know the fundamentals of network, it is never a demand that you should be too much into the networking part. No, that is never the requirement, right? But if you at least know the fundamentals, for example, if you understand how the protocol works, if you understand, how the, subnetting works, right? Because subnetting will help you understand different aspect of the network, right? What kind of network you have. So without understanding fundamental of that network segmentation, VLAN or something like that, things will start becoming very difficult. But tell me one thing, knowing fundamentals of network, how infra works, how packet flows from one machine to another machine, compared to only Sentinel tool and IBM QRadar tool. Tell me which one has more advantage. You can unmute yourself. Anyone? Which
Where
one
we
has more
have,
advantage?
yeah, we should at least know the basic networking fundamentals, like how the packet flows and how the protocols work at the back end. We should know at least that. Otherwise, that would be like throwing arrows in the dark.
It one simple example. I hope all of you are from India, right? All of them. So usually every year there is an IPL game. So what happens these days is, based on an IPL performance, you get selected for the international matches, right? So ground root, they don't play test matches, I assume, I'm giving this example, I assume that you are aware of the cricket, right? They don't play test matches, they don't play Ranji Trophy, the domestic tournaments. They get selected. Somewhere something will be missing, right? In terms of whatever that experience brings, right? So here also, network, understanding the network itself is fundamental of infrastructure. So without, I believe, understanding the fundamentals of it, you may be surviving for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. Somewhere down the line, if you have to migrate, if you have to come to a discussion in terms of, see, if you don't know network fundamentals, how will you deal with network attacks? Correct. You must have heard of lateral movement attack. Lateral movement, probably, most of the time it happens from one network to another network. If you don't know the fundamentals of how the packet flows from one network to another network, irrespective of whichever security tool you use, what is the use, right? If you are not able to understand how the packet flows from different network and how to catch the threats. So that's the whole idea. So by the way, this course access will be given, I think, after Mr. Sanjeev will announce in a group, right? But after it is announced, so this is what you will be getting. You have to start, you have to note it down, team members. By the way, we'll be uploading recorded videos. You have to start this course by this basic networking fundamentals. You have to start from there. Don't browse any random videos. Okay. After that, after understanding basic network fundamentals, you may not be, even after going through the entire videos, right? You may not understand 100%, but if you are able to grasp even 30%, right? Or 25%, that means you know something more than which you didn't know before, right? Who knows? If you're smart enough, it can go up to 50% also. But this will only help, right? Rather than degrading your performance or understanding of, how infra works, how packet flows. Similarly, when we talk about packet, right? So there is a course called related to Wireshark. Some of you may have heard, some of you may not have heard, but the idea of introducing this course is, at the high level that how one machine is communicating with another machine, how one IP is communicating to another IP via some protocols, right? But if you want to see at the packet level, when one packet moves from one IP to another IP, how does it looks like inside? So this level of granularity is going to give you immense amount of confidence. I'll tell you how it is helpful from security aspect. So if you start upscaling your skill by learning, deep packet inspection, or we call it as a Wireshark, so you'll be able to see how the attack packets looks like. You may not realize it now, team members, but you'll realize it at some point of time when these skills will be required if you want to understand certain thing in depth rather than just at the high level, right? So you need to be competitive. For that reason, this will also help understanding how packet works. Because see, there are two kind of a packet flow. One is a good packet flow. One is a bad packet flow. If you want to understand how the bad packet flow looks like, this is how you can look. And there are some ways to, it's a very interesting tool, open source, doesn't require any license. It's pretty popular in the community. Now, after networking is done, you go with Wireshark. After that, so assuming that most of you are aware of Windows or something like that, okay? Most of the infrastructure, most of the servers, either it will be Linux, either it will be Windows, right? But many of the people are already familiar with Windows. They exactly know where to browse, what activity needs to be done after logging in, right? So people get acquainted pretty fast in terms of Windows environment. But when it comes to Linux, some of them are blank. In most of the occasions, you have to deal with Linux servers, Linux operating system. Whenever you are managing, some of you must have experienced this, right? Probably you must be onboarding syslog or some kind of a logs from the web server, monitoring in your SIEM tool, whatever it is. If I give you the operating system of Linux, if I ask you, show me where this file is, how will you search that? In Windows, it's pretty simple, right? Most of you, if you just Google it, you will be able to know this. But yes, understanding of Linux basics is very, very important, because Linux-based operating system is widely used in any security infra of your customer. Okay. So once this part is done, which is the first? Network. Second, Wireshark Advanced. Third, Linux. Now you jump to firewall. Okay. So rather than going to advanced, go to basic first. Okay. Go through these videos. Okay. So you can say it is this much of durations, right? Don't be in a rush. Don't just watch the videos. Checkpoint, you may not have done it before. It's a checkpoint firewall, by the way. You must have expertise in, PAN or something. Doesn't matter. Like I've said, take this exercise as a methodology wise, rather than being a tool expert, which anyways you'll become when you have that mentality of, understanding methodology. You'll be using some sort of tools, right? The advantage which you'll have is you had expertise in PAN firewall. Now you have a little bit of expertise in checkpoint. We never know if your customer is using, some of the customer might use, two vendor firewall in the same network, right? But the idea remains the same. If you already know one firewall, okay, if you are trying to understand another firewall, you'll see not much difference. That experience you'll gain. It doesn't matter whichever the firewall is given to you. Given a time, it's just a matter of UI and how the terms are pronounced, but it's the same thing, right? So you start with Checkpoint Bootcamp R80.30. After that, you go with Checkpoint Advanced R80.40. Okay. So once this is done, all right, Once this is done, what you do is you go with Splunk. There will be part one and part two. All right. So part one and part two, we have it here. After that is done, you go to AlienVault OSSIM. By the way, this is an open source SIEM tool, free. Anybody can install in their machine, provided they have that resources, right? But it's a open source. In fact, as far as I heard last time, it's the number one open source SIEM tool in the world still. But don't not keep changing. But it's one of the top tools. So this is the flow. Okay, you have to start browsing one. This is basic networking fundamentals, and then Wireshark operating system, and then checkpoint RET.40, and then checkpoint advance. Once everything is done, right, after checkpoint advance, what did I say? You have to go to Splunk part one and part two, and then you'll go to OSSIM, and at the end, this is a bonus, cyber forensics. You'll do it at the end. Okay, this is the last thing you'll be doing. It is something good to have, because if you add even bit of it in your resume or while you're, so you will understand. Okay, so just hold on, I missed out ethical hacking, sorry. So after Splunk and AlienVault is done, right, you have to perform, you have to go ahead and acquire some ethical hacking skills as well. So tell me one thing, you may not be red team expert, you may not know how to hack the machine, but I will ask you one question. Even if you may not be even if you are not that skillful enough to operate the red team tools or hacking tools, tell me one thing, the one who knows 5 to 10% of how the attack is executed, and blue team already they know how to defend. Tell me which skill set will help when you actually work in client environment, the one who knows a little bit of red and little bit of blue team tools, or the one who knows only blue team tools? Which one is it?
Red team.
Red team, right? Both, right? You should
Yep.
understand that, because you should understand how the attack perspective looks like. You just need not to go theoretical. There is a practical involved. You have to perform the practicals. Okay. So for the last time, I'll mention again, you may note it down. First, network fundamentals. Second, Wireshark. Third, Linux basics for security. Fourth, checkpoint bootcamp RET.30. Next is this, right? After checkpoint is done, you will go into Splunk part one and part two. Then you'll go to okay, after Splunk part one and part two, I would suggest you go for ethical hacking, and then you go for AlienVault OSSIM, and then at the end you go for cyber forensics. This should be the flow. Okay. Like I've said again, you are learning the methodology with the help of some tool set, right? So just focus in that way. Try in this time spent, right, in this course or in this engagement, please focus on understanding the methodology. Please try to understand the concept practically, not only theoretically. Doesn't matter which technology is being used. Yes, that is a different thing, that if company demands I want so and so years of experience in so and so tool, that's fine. That may not be the relevant company, but I have also seen a company who just wants stock analyst, and they just want to know how much you know about the blue team tools. At that point of time, this experience tool also doesn't matter. It depends from company to company. So you need not to worry when they say that tool specific this much years of experience, right? We have seen the market. So there is a demand for everything after all, right? So now to execute this, right, team members, now you have to execute this on certain laptop or desktop, right? For that, this irrespective of whether you'll be using, lab subscription, which we are, currently discussing with partner, or if you have your own personal laptop or desktop, doesn't matter. Either ways, you at least require this much of free space. RAM, it should be 16 GB. I'll tell you one example why it is 16 GB. There is a reason. For example, to execute checkpoint labs, okay, let me write it here. You require at least 6 GB of RAM, right? Now, plus you will require 2 to 4 GB of people start subscribing it, okay? But this course access free of course will be given nevertheless, right? So I think that will be updated in group as well soon. when we are starting that, provided we get your response, positive response on that as well. So team, did you understood overall, what is the objective, what is expected, what you are going to do with the recorded video, and in which flow you should start learning that, and how it is benefiting you?
Hello, sir. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah,
I,
please.
I have understood. Just a few queries. Like I would be going through the course. So with the course, with every videos which I see, so I think there are tasks related to that course, those courses, right?
Yes.
So I would be required to upload certain files or maybe screenshots that I have completed this task, which would validate the thing that I have actually completed the task, and right.
That thing is for later part. Okay, that thing can be communicated. Okay, like I've said,
Okay.
see, I've still not yet discussed how you'll connect to lab if you're subscribing for the lab on our setup, right?
Okay.
So that thing will be, there is a instructions, or probably we'll share you the video how it is done. Okay,
Okay.
but the idea here is probably we'll remove that thing anyways. We will always sync up on Monday and Thursday, right?
Okay.
There itself will know everything. Okay, so it's not like too strict, because this is a free, right? So probably there will not be strict monitoring whether you're uploading or not. The idea here is whether you're performing the lab activities and you will engage yourself. This is what you have done, right? This is where you are stuck, right? We'll discuss on that basis basically. Okay,
Okay. So
because we are not yet. Yeah,
yeah,
tell
my
me.
last query is, so I have one friend who has actually worked in cybersecurity, and he has done some work. He has taught people, and he has done penetration testing as well. So if he wants to join, can he join this course at this point of time? Because we were required to tell about our interest much before, but if at that point, if he can join or not, I was just asking that.
So see, I'm not sure via which channel they can join. So for that, I think Mr. Sanjay would be the right person. Okay. See
Okay.
if that it see if I say yes now, there will be many people in a group who will start doing that, and it will simply create a noise in a
Yeah,
group which will impact you guys. Okay. So I wanted to be very
Vishal,
careful. Yeah.
Vishal, in,
Yeah.
for these people who want to connect us later, we will take them in next slot. Okay. As
Okay.
of now, we are just going to be focused on this group because we have already sent some 2-3 reminders. There after maybe 2 or 3 reminders, people have joined. 140 people joined out of 500. In that also, there are only 100 people who have joined in this group. So we want to be focused first on only these set of people first. Maybe if someone is interested in your friend circle, or anyone wants to join later, like no, we'll keep this program running provided the success is going to be seen out of this motion. Okay, so we will keep the additional maybe admissions, or you can say registrations in next slot. That time he can do that, not a problem. Okay.
All right. So I think that question is answered, right?
Yes, yes,
So
thank you so much.
yeah. Any other questions, team members? So we have 5 more minutes. Sorry, it's really I'm really thankful to all of you. You guys have allowed us to extend the time. So yeah. Any other questions? You can ask. It's anything. No question is silly question, right? If you have even a doubt, you get it clarified rather than you know not getting a clarity, assuming the answer yourself, right? All right. uh, I assume there is no questions, so we'll be in touch. I'm also there in WhatsApp group,
Sir,
right? We all are
only
there.
red team.
Sorry, you're
Sir,
on mute.
this training only red team or blue team?
I didn't understand your question. Can you unmute
Sir,
yourself and just explain me?
sir, this training regarding red team or blue team? Both,
it's
sir.
it's both. See, if you see ethical hacking has nothing to do with blue team, right? It's a red teaming part. So if you see blue teaming, so checkpoint firewall, it's a blue team tool, correct? Splunk, it's a blue team tool. AlienVault OSSIM, it's a
Yes.
blue team tool. It's both. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for asking that. So team, you have a clarity now, right? So what do you feel? You understood the flow? See, in between, I thought, based on the discussion, based on the journey, or, after which you have been onboarded in WhatsApp group, you know, we thought that, it should not be an ad hoc approach while you are watching the videos. I hope at least that part is clear. Whenever we share you that free course, I hope you know the flow now, right? Don't directly
Yes.
start jumping anywhere else. It will only impact you, because once that is started, every Monday and Thursday, anyways, we are going to sync up, right? So it should not be like while we are discussing networking part, somebody will ask question on checkpoint. It should not be like that. Okay. To respect everyone's time. So there is a reason why that flow has been designed that way, why I suggest you to do that based on, your background, right? Almost all of your background. So please follow that. We'll sync up every, all interested candidates, right? Of course, Monday and Thursday. Let's see where it goes. But from my experience, if you're serious, so you will see the result yourself. So if I have to give you an estimation, the current state, wherever you are, right? If you put your effort genuinely, and at the end, what you will see is you have improved at least more than 10%. 10% is a lot. Okay, I'm telling you that. You'll understand that again, I'm telling you, because there are so many technologies in the world. You don't know what kind of technology you'll be dealing in the future, right? So it's always better to learn more. And fortunately, we have, SMEs, right? Subject matter expert, who will be dealing on Monday and Thursday with respect to specific subjects. Okay. So they are extending their support in that manner. I hope you'll utilize it properly. Please respect our, time as well. Okay. You all have to, respond, like Mr. Sanjeev mentioned. If we are asking for a response, right? So you have to update, you have to be active, right? That will also help us to understand that, okay, you guys are serious and want to know more. So that also encourages us, right, to invest more time with you. It should not feel like, nobody's responding. There is no what's not worth the time spending on Monday and Thursday. It should not go that way. Okay. We really want to help you guys. All right. That's it from my side. If there's nothing else, we can wind up the call. Any questions?
No.
All right. Thank you all, everyone. I hope this call helped, right, overall, to get a clarity. So rather than, chatting in a WhatsApp, me and Mr. Sanjeev decided, why don't we go in a call to give a clarity, so that you should not assume what is happening, what is not, right? All right. Once we actually start that of lab subscription, or probably the course subscription, right, which is free course subscription. So we will start sharing the documentation on uh, how to connect to our lab, in case if somebody subscribes into our lab. In case if you already have a personal laptop or desktop, you can carry on. Again, I'm saying, like Mr. Sanjeev mentioned, please, if you don't genuinely have 16 GB of RAM, okay, you have to be upfront. It will impact you. I'm telling you that. Okay, it's your choice. You can borrow your friend's laptop, or your, any one of your family's laptop, cousin's laptop, right? That is okay. But you need to have that setup, which I just explained. Otherwise, you'll be dealing 30 to 40% of the time just on troubleshooting of slowness issue. Okay. So please, that is very important.